Is this running?
It's running.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Hey guys, so
Hey guys.
today we are going to talk about double cleansing.
Well, we're going to talk about cleansers in general, the
Yes.
importance of cleansing,
Yes.
proper cleansing, double cleansing.
all that good stuff.
All that good. pH, the importance of good pH. And we have a guest today.
Our second guest.
Another Daisy.
Another Daisy the dog. Say hi. Okay, so she's going to be in and out.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get started. So I guess some people know the importance of double cleansing or cleansing properly, that is. But we want to a little bit talk about,
Yeah, well,
back it up a little.
I think that, like, okay, so on Instagram and on YouTube, the most common question I personally get is about my acne, because I talk a lot about my acne, and I talk a lot about my history with struggling with acne for like the last 12, 13 years of my life. And a lot of people are like, what do you do for your acne? Like, what serums do you use? And I thought about it a lot, and I'm like, like, my acne really, and my skin in general, really started to clear up when I started from the ground, from the bottom, and improved all my cleansing.
Which is like base one.
Yeah, it's base one.
Yeah.
It's the most, and it really is the most important step in your entire skin, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that, though. It's the most important step. So I'm going to tell my story, and then you can tell your story.
Let's listen. Story time, guys.
Story
Get your
time.
tea.
Get your tea.
Okay, and let's get started.
Yeah, 'cause I just think
I want to hear more of your skincare story.
I just
how you
think
started.
it's important before we start to talk about cleansers. We talk about like our background,
Backgrounds.
how we got there. So I was telling Chia earlier today. So back in high school, which was a really long time ago, I had perfect skin. I never had any skin issues. I didn't wear makeup. And then, because I was in theater a lot, I was in a kabuki play, and I played the sea scorpion.
You
I don't know if
you didn't tell me it was the sea scorpion.
It was the sea scorpion, and for those
I
of
thought
you
you were gonna be like a geisha or something.
No,
Okay.
I was the villain.
Okay, wow.
I was the sea scorpion. And for those of you who don't know kabuki, it's like where you dress up as like these characters, these crazy characters. So anyway, so I wore this red, super thick theater makeup all over my face and all over my body, like, and I could not get this makeup off. I like washed my face, and I had like prom like 4 days after, and my skin was like still kind of pink. And from that moment on, because the theater makeup is a lot thicker and it just clogged
really
my pores.
Oily.
Yes.
And heavy.
Heavy. Because you have to see, the audience has to see it from like far away. And so from that moment on, I went from that, and then I was desperate, so I did the Clinique 3-step system, which is ridiculous. I mean, no offense if anybody uses Clinique, but the bar soap is like super high pH, totally dried my skin, and then the alcohol toner, it ruined my skin. And so from that point on, I was just constantly constantly chasing like something that would work, and I went to multiple dermatologists that told me the same thing, like you have to dry out your skin before it improves. I just like struggled, and I just was so frustrated, and it really was because my moisture barrier was completely compromised and totally stripped, and everything that I was putting on it was just irritating it worse. And so I was like using the Proactive, like benzoyl peroxide on, like, which is basically bleach.
Oh my gosh.
I was using that on my face. And then so when I moved to Hong Kong, I remember I walked into like the Sasa, and the lady is like, so what do you do for your skin? And I was like, okay, well, I use Proactive, like cleanser, and then my toner, and then face or moisturizer, and then I use the oil afterwards, because I was using emu oil at the time, because I heard that it clears up acne, and I was all about like trying all these weird like So, and then she looked at me and she was like super confused. And she's like, you're doing it backwards. So like that like triggered my...
It really
resonated with me, because I was like, wait a second. And then I started reading all about double cleansers, and I just really started to realize the importance of removing your makeup first, because oil
breaks down the oil.
Yeah, oil breaks down oil, and your sunscreen, and you have to take that off first before you can move on to your next cleanser. But we'll talk about that more in a second. I want to hear your story.
Well, my story isn't, I guess I started when I was 9 years old. I got my first pimple, like right here. I got my first pimple right here.
Wow.
But I was so happy because that meant that I was growing up. So
I remember I got excited when I got my period at 13. I was like, growing up.
Anyhow, so when I was 10 years old, fast forward just a year, I got like, I don't think I had bangs, but I got a bunch of, because I think I sweated a lot and I didn't wash my face. Like I thought like washing meant just like showering once a day or twice within 2 days or whatever. So I thought that was washing your face. I didn't know what washing your face was. Like I didn't know that cleansers even existed at that point. So I had a lot of just like dirt and oil, and then that, you know, created my pimples, and I had a bunch of pimples on my forehead. And so around middle school, I started experimenting with Noxzema, Neutrogena.
Yeah. I did that too.
Clearasil.
Yes.
Like all those like zip pads, like that would strip, like basically get you all dried up. And little did I know that, like, you know, when you compromise your moisture barrier like that, that you have the negative effects of it. You know, you get oilier, you get zits or acne and stuff like that. So little did I know that that's what I was doing to my skin. But so, and then like I was a picker too, and I picked up my pimples. I was really bad.
I did the same thing. I popped all my pimples. Yeah. It's a miracle I don't have more scars than
I have a bunch of like bigger scars, and that I couldn't get, you know, just I had to get lasered off.
It's really crazy, like when I really started to think about like what was the one thing that like drastically improved my skin, and it was just cleansing. It was proper cleansing.
Because you can't get rid of the
let's talk about just
makeup.
The oil cleanser for one. It's like I heard this analogy, or I read this analogy on the internet, and somebody said like, if you're gonna treat your leather boots, you have to scrape off the mud first before you can treat the leather. And it's kind of true on our skin. It's like you oil bonds with oil, and it's silly to expect, you know, a Hada Labo foam cleanser to take off all the oils in your makeup and the oils in your sunscreen. So you really have to remove that first gently with an oil that will, you know, dissolve the oil.
That won't clog your pores.
Exactly.
Because supposedly there are oils that do clog your pores. So we recommend not using products with mineral oil on them. And these ones are supposedly, they don't have any mineral oil. This one's a Hada Labo cleansing oil, and this one has, I don't know, I haven't used it yet. It has olive oil. The olive oil is the first ingredient.
But that's the one from Muji, right? It's supposed
this
to be
one's the one from Muji.
Gentle.
Yeah. This is, I think, the gentle kind. So we'll see how this works out. It's brand new, so I haven't tested it out.
And this is my absolute favorite, the Fancl, the mild cleansing oil, and it's like fragrance free. And
these are, I don't know about this one. No, it doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah.
It's very.
Also when you're first using a cleansing oil, you kind of have to like play around and see what oil works for your skin type.
Because the olive oil doesn't work for it.
Yes, I have a sensitivity to olive oil, so the Fancl doesn't have olive oil in it. I actually don't remember what particular oil is in here. Well, we'll have to put it. I'll have to look it up, and we'll have to.
This one has jojoba seed oil.
Yeah, so jojoba works good for me.
This one has olive fruit oil, like Olea Europea.
Oh, got it. I also have a sensitivity to coconut oil. Do you?
No, I'm pretty good. I don't know. I am not so ingredient knowledgeable. Like I just see what products have worked for my skin, but it's kind of hard for me to dissect which ingredient, because there's just so many ingredients, you know, like unless I see like a commonality between all my products, like, oh, every single product has mineral in it and every single one, you know, breaks me out or something, then I'll be able to do that. But it's kind of hard for me to break it down and be like, oh, it's olive oil that breaks me out.
But you're lucky because you don't have as sensitive skin.
I don't have as sensitive skin as you.
Me, so I have to really, like, if something breaks me out, I have to just like stop using it. And then also there's
cleansing balms.
Cleansing balms that are really nice. Like if you don't want to, you know, use a whole oil on your face, it's kind of like, it is oil, you know, it is oil based, but it's more in a how would you describe a cleansing balm? Like a balm texture. But we'll do a close-up on what a balm looks like, just in case. Like, I know a lot of people watching this video are going to be like old pros, but just in case you're...
Yeah, and then we have our goodie but oldie, or oldie but goodie, the Botanic Farm grain ferment.
This
and that one's really
amazing.
Good. Yeah, I really like that one a lot.
This is the one that almost converted me into balms, because I'm not a cleansing balm person. I love this like silky slip of an oil cleanser.
I don't mind
do
either one. I actually probably prefer the oils because these, as you can see, have all pumps to it. It's less like you don't have to get a spatula and then you don't have to dip it. It's kind of like hassle free. So that's why I like oils.
Sanitary
too. Yeah, because like this, like as soon as like things get in it and stuff. So yeah, cleansing oils are probably easier, but these are more travel friendly because this one, it could spill, you know, if it's not shut right. And these ones are pretty solid for the most part. So as long as you're not going somewhere really hot, it's not gonna melt. But we have our
let's talk about
foam cleansing.
Let's talk about our second cleanser, and we should really mention why pH is important, why the pH is important, and
low pH.
The low pH. And I want to give a shout out to Carrie of Skin and Tonics, who she had a blog post when I was living in Hong Kong and I was still trying to like figure this out. I read this blog post and it changed my life. It's called The Importance of Fatty Acids, pH, and the Moisture Barrier: How I Eliminated My Acne and Decreased My Skin Sensitivity. So we'll link it in the bottom because she gets really scientific and really specific, more specific than we can get. But if you want to know more about why the low pH is so important, you should really read it. After I read that article, I switched, so I bought the Hada Labo face wash when I was in Hong Kong because I was like, I was willing to try anything. And I'm like, okay, I'll try this low pH thing. It sounds silly, but I'll give it a try because it made sense, because it made sense what she was saying, because the higher the pH, because your moisture barrier is like your outermost layer on your skin. And so when you're using, like, if you're over exfoliating or you're using a higher pH or you're, using...
The products can't absorb, right?
Yeah, well, it'll break down it'll damage your moisture barrier and it'll break it down so that when you apply put anything else on it, like serums or ampules or creams, essence, it's gonna well, for me, I don't know about everybody, but for me, all those 13 or 14 years when I was putting stuff on my skin, just desperately trying to clear it up, that I was doing it wrong, and it was just irritating it, and it wasn't absorbing.
Yeah, it wasn't absorbing at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know for me if it irritated my skin, but I know for sure once. So I used a Sim 37 rose stick one that a lot of people like, and for me, I just wasn't impressed with it. And the reason why is because once Julie gave this to me, she's all, you need to try it. Just try it and see if you like it. And then she got one for me, and it was life-changing.
Yes.
Like, within, like, I don't know if it was a couple days or a week, like, all of a sudden, like, my products that I was previously using with the rose stick, it started like working. Like my face was smoother, it had better texture, it was brighter, and so it was amazing. It was a life-changing moment using this Hada Labo one. And right now I'm using this Minin Amino Moist. And you know what? For me, I cannot tell a difference yet, so I can't give my opinion. But supposedly, I haven't tested it out. But supposedly, this is low pH.
We're going off of our experiences. We're going off of like, this is what happened to us, and we noticed like such a crazy change that it's like, that's why we wanted to do a whole video on
because I guess I have more combo oily skin and a little bit of sensitivity, and I have hyperpigmentation. That's my skin concerns that I've had. So these are the products that work for me. Just because you have similar skin type might not work for you. So you kind of have to try it and see what works for your skin.
Yeah, skin is
because
crazy.
Everybody has different skin, unfortunately. Just because you have oily skin and I have oily skin doesn't mean that this is going to work for you, unfortunately. Anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you next week. And Daisy is half
Bye.
asleep.
Yeah, Daisy's asleep down
Bye.
here. Bye. Daisy, come here. Come here.
Stay.
Daisy,
Stay. Hold on, Molly. How am I going to get
come
it?
here. Come here,
Oh my
Daisy.
gosh. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
I'm not it.
Did you mess it up?
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Like you need yoga.
You probably need to do some yoga.
Oh my gosh. Okay.